Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. We are starting off with this picture. We're going back to the space photos because I know you guys love them so much. This picture again came from a site on Twitter called Space Porn. And the photo you're looking at is the Horseshoe Nebula infrared view that was taken by the Hubble telescope. Tell me that's not gorgeous, because I just love that. Well, my goodness, you guys. Once again, we have a lot of different, a wide variety of topics to cover. Some good, some just where you throw up your hands and go, really? And some obvious that was right in front of our faces, but we missed it. So let's just jump in with both feet and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, this story came out first, and I just thought it was really sweet. Now, you know the royal family gets a lot of letters, but somehow it never occurred to me that the children might get birthday invitations. But a 6-year-old girl did send a birthday invitation to Prince George, and apparently Catherine actually wrote back. And the mother was very excited and shared it online and said, this is something to be kept. And she wrote, and I'm quoting from the article, "The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have asked me to thank you for your letter in which you invite Prince George to your 6th birthday party. I'm sorry it took so long to reply. Their Royal Highnesses were extremely grateful for your kind invitation, having given careful consideration to the possibilities. However, I very much regret that their Royal Highnesses reluctantly feel they have to decline. Nevertheless, I hope that you enjoyed your birthday." So obviously she didn't respond. Somebody in her office responded. But anyway, I think it was really, really sweet that somebody responded. And that letter is something that, the family will keep. I agree. All right, moving on. Next up, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, was on the Solent this weekend at a Platinum Jubilee celebration. There were over 400 boats from the local sailing and yachting community. They came together on the water. She carried out a fleet review and a motor past review. And there was some sail training ships, some historic yachts. It was a great event. She looked like she enjoyed herself. Congratulations to her for that event. Moving on. All right, next up, Serena Williams. We saw the picture yesterday of her in that absolutely gorgeous blue dress with her daughter, and she says she's talking about having a second baby. I will simply say this: the woman is brave, because for those of you who don't remember, she became quite ill after the first baby. I believe she developed pulmonary PEs, which are blood clots in the lungs. Those can kill you. So for her to want to have another baby after that, I give her kudos. All right, moving on. All right, I want to go now to Meghan's stairs. Now, we've all seen the love bombing. She just tries to stare at Harry so adoringly. He's just so wonderful. Let's stare, let's stare. And then, of course, we've all seen the weird stares, the freaky stares. I think she was trying to get his attention with these stares, like stop talking or introduce me or, something. The weird blinking thing. We've covered all of that. What I want to look at now are the mean stares where her mask slips from before, during, and after the wedding. Take a look at these. As a child giving an interview, rolling her eyes at her father while they're on vacation. Before she met Harry. Before she met Harry. At a wedding with Harry before their engagement. During the engagement. During the wedding with Charlotte. With Camilla the next day. With her mother at an event. after Archie's birth. Being jealous of Catherine. On tour. At an event. Come on, guys. She's been slipping this mask for quite some time. All right, let's move on now to the stories that have come out for today. Let's go. Here we go. It's coming out now that that great amount that supposedly Andrew paid that Virginia Giuffre woman is not near what was reported. Supposedly, it was between 3 and 5 million pounds, but the lower figure means that they're thinking that that's why she didn't sign a gagging order, which leaves her free to write a tell-all book later on. So, initially everybody thought it was like 12 million, but it's way lower. It's like 3 million. Now you have to wonder why such a low amount. And for those of you who are unaware, when he paid that money, he gave no admission of liability. He gave no apology, none whatsoever. Now, in the meantime, a spokesman for Andrew came out about the purchase of that 5 million pound property that was recently purchased in Mayfair. And supposedly, allegedly, it was bought as an investment opportunity for their daughters. Andrew said he had nothing to do with the purchase of that property. And he's got nothing to do with it. Anyway, we'll see how this whole thing ends up. Moving on. All right, the next story we have is apparently Harry wants to get rid of the PR team that Meghan chose because his big comeback went bad. Now, the big comeback supposedly was his keynote speech to the United Nations at their headquarters in New York. We all know what happened. He was there to mark Nelson Mandela Day. The UN visit was seen as a potential quote-unquote big comeback. Even Neil Sean has said it. But we already know that the auditorium had 75 to 80% empty. The few people that were there were looking at their cell phones. I mean, it literally was a joke. And since then, Harry is said to be very, very angry, and he wants a new PR team. Now, the reason he wants the new PR team is because he feels that they should have done seat fillers. And just remember, it's never the celebrity's fault. It's somebody else's fault, right? Like, yeah, you know how that is. I don't think that he has really grasped the fact of what his real situation is. You know what I'm saying, you guys? Like, yeah, has been Harry. All right, moving on. Okay. According to this report, Harry is trying to brand himself as a leader in the United States, like President Obama, who released his own best-selling biography in 2020. So he's trying to brand himself like Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook founder Barack Obama. He's trying to get $100,000 for, speeches. He's trying to brand himself as a leader. He's hoping that his book will do that because he's trying to rewrite his entire story. That's where he's going. Is it working? No, it really didn't. Now, of course, the book is we already know what he's going to do to the family. He's trying to blow the family out of the water. He's already said that the book is going to, just explode the royal family. It should make the family nervous. But I think at this point, we all pretty much know that anything in that book is probably a lie. And, I don't get the fact that they continually attack everybody and they take no responsibility for their own actions. It's just so odd. Here's my thought process on this. Harry wants to brand himself as a U.S. leader. How are you going to brand yourself as a U.S. leader when you have insulted the U.S. Constitution? You've insulted free speech. You're not a U.S. citizen. You're a UK citizen. I mean, if anything, this just shows how off the wall this man is. What makes him think he can be a U.S. leader? He didn't even get upper levels in college. He's nobody except Diana's son. And even that is starting to wear thin. Like, I don't understand the thought process. Who are these people that are advising him? Because they're lying to him. Now, this book is supposed to be the first, and I'm air quoting, accurate and wholly truthful account of his life. But the problem is there's so many books coming out at about the same time. They're saying that, quote, Harry fatigue will have set in by then. And his memoir is still not on the website for other royal books. Other books are up for pre-order. His is not. Now, supposedly, this is part of their pre-publication campaign because they want a shock drop game plan. So you have all this radio silence following which will be followed up by a bombardment of revelations to tease people into buying it. But the problem is, with that particular strategy, is that there's a bunch of other books coming out at the same time. So while his book is coming out about the same time, Valentine Lowe, you guys remember him, who broke the story about Meghan being accused of bullying the staff? His book is coming out, The Hidden Power Behind the Crowns, right? In November, you've got Katie Nichols' book, which is a forensic examination of the firm in the New Royals. Angela Levin is publishing a biography of the Duchess of Cornwall. There's a lot going on. So by the time he puts that book out, forget it. So imagine they're saying, poor Harry, having your truth drowned out by a load of other people telling different versions of that truth. That's why Harry fatigue will set in, they're saying. Now, weirdly enough, you guys should know that while the article said, like, Angela Levin is doing a book, Twitter apparently is saying she isn't. So I'm not sure what that is all about. I guess we'll find out. All right, this story, I literally spit my coffee out. It's saying that Meghan and Harry just accepted a TV deal that Pippa Middleton had snubbed years earlier on palace instruction. Now, Pippa came back to the spotlight this summer after the birth of her third child, a little girl by the name of Rose, to the family of 5. And, they have 2 other children. And of course, everybody went on and on about how somehow this was a nod to Meghan. Who in the heck believes that? Meghan Markle has attacked her sister, insulted her sister. Who would honestly believe she would name her new daughter after, as a nod to Meghan Markle? Anyway, moving back, we all saw where she was first on the scene at Catherine's wedding, looking absolutely fabulous in that dress. She was one of the most talked about elements of Catherine's wedding. So after the wedding, because of the way she looked in that dress, she even admitted it was a little too tight. She had a fan club, a book deal, column contracts, TV presenting opportunity. So she was offered a deal with a chat show, on a chat show with Oprah 10 years before Meghan and Harry's interview. Pippa was apparently offered, it's being alleged, to appear on Oprah Winfrey's show, but outright refused the deal because the palace said no. Apparently, she was caught in a U.S. TV bidding war for her first interview. She didn't want to speak to anybody on air, and you can't really blame her. But of course, we all know what happened in March of 2021. Harry and Meghan sat down for the tell-all interview with Oprah, where we all know that they told a bunch of lies that have all been proven. So, yeah. And speaking of the Oprah interview and everything that's gone on since then, I simply want to throw out that I find it very interesting that Meghan refuses to speak to her father. Initially, she wouldn't talk to him because she was afraid of a leak, right? And she was just concerned about things being repeated. And yet, she went to the Oprah interview and spewed everything. Somebody on Twitter called Genevieve wrote that Meghan's high horse looks more like a Shetland pony. And I agree. All right, moving on. Articles are coming out about the lawsuits for the security. We're all aware of what's going on. I don't feel the need to rehash the whole thing. We all know that this is all focusing on a decision that was taken earlier this year. And of course, Harry found out that people that were on the board he felt shouldn't have been there. And that's why this entire thing is occurring. So what his protection officer said is, I don't know who advised him to take legal action against the British government and the police. It was an unwise thing to do because it raises negative publicity, which is true. And they already have a lot of negative publicity. Now, what they're saying is, had he decided to come to the UK And rather than make noise about how he wants the full package, the British government and the police would have provided a liaison to work with his own security, although it would have been private because that would have been necessary. So this guy is saying he doesn't see why Harry insisted that he has the full package and a team from Scotland Yard when he's not entitled to it because he's a non-working member of the royal family. Now, here's what I see. This is just my thought process on this entire mess. Here we go. Harry and Meghan apparently had approximately $30 million from Diana. Remember, Harry said he couldn't have done anything with what was left to him by his mother, but he forgot to mention that what was left was about $30 million. They put a big chunk of change down on that house. They have about $50,000 in bills monthly between the mortgage, the power, the water, the staff, the cars, the whatever. Okay, they have a lot of monetary expenses. So here's my thought process. The security is costing them millions every year, and within a few years, they're going to run out of money. This is why he's pushing so hard to get the IPP status back. That way, wherever he and Meghan live, the government has to provide taxpayer-funded security. It's not going to happen. He's not going to win. He's going to have to pay the UK taxpayer back every dime for these frivolous lawsuits. And I might add, it's been reported that the IPP status would protect him from being sued from Netflix and Spotify to have to give their money back if they don't produce anything. Very interesting. I'm keeping an eye on this story, you guys. All right, moving on. Now, with all of that said, here comes Omid Scobie. Harry and his family need the security now before it's too late. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he starts talking about that Chael guy who was arrested after breaking into the grounds of Windsor Castle last Christmas Day with the crossbow, and that he's been sectioned under the Mental Health Act. So what is Omid saying here? He's saying that for members of the monarchy, including those who have stepped away, this high level of security is essential. They must have it. Now, he's talking about Harry's lengthy high court battle with the British Home Office. He says that because the UK won't give him the security, that's why he hasn't returned. I think we all know that that's absolutely untrue. Now, according to Omid, Harry isn't paranoid. While he was covering them, he was made aware of the high number of threats sent to the couple, and the majority of them were from the UK. And it's no different today. Now, during their visit to the Platinum Jubilee, for which they were given state security, credible threats were intercepted by authorities. And he says, thanks to the never-ending stream of false tabloid tales calling me their close friend or spokesman. So now he's claiming he doesn't really know them, although we all know better than that. He's already been proven to be a liar in court. He regularly receives an extension of their online threats, and they're from racism to violent scenes, and he forwards them to the police. Okay, first of all, everybody gets death threats. Harry, Meghan. I notice you haven't mentioned William and Catherine, whose death threats have gone up through the roof because of Meghan. Now, Omid also made a lot of unsubstantiated claims. I wonder where they got that habit from. He claims that Harry and Meghan were meeting with the Queen, and that Ravik tried to stop them from meeting with the Queen, and that's why he said we have to make sure the right people are around her. Yes, he is their mouthpiece. He claims he's not, but obviously with this article, it clearly shows that he is. He's explaining what Harry meant by certain statements. Now he's talking about the second lawsuit. It's over. He doesn't want the British UK security. He wants his IPP status back because the cost of security is killing them. It's not going to happen. So after reading all that, is there anybody here who still believes that Omid is not affiliated with them, knowing that Omid worked with them on Finding Freedom even after he signed documents in court saying he didn't, and he's explaining what Harry meant by certain statements, and yet he wants you to believe that he doesn't really know them? Does anybody believe that? All right, moving on. All right, we have some good news. William and Catherine's Royal Foundation, remember the one that they split off from Harry and Meghan, increased its income from £6.7 million to more than £20.4 million in 2 years. So as soon as they split off with Harry and Meghan, everybody started giving more and more to this foundation. Now, this happened right after Harry and Meghan dissolved their UK charity, that MWX, which, by the way, stood for Markle Windsor, in case you didn't know. Now, while this was going on and their money is going for things like the Earthshot Prize, the Archewell Foundation in 2020 received less than $50,000. It's not doing well. And with that, I agree with what Cartnish put on Twitter. William and Kate's Royal Foundation is soaring high with income increased year by year. And successful people always have two things on their lips: silence and a smile. Spot on. All right, I wanted to look at this. This is one of those Sunshine Sachs articles. Princess Meghan. There is no Princess Meghan. There's a Princess Henry. But her, as Duchess, they're getting a major new honor. That's also not true. What Archewell did is they partnered up with a company or a group that advocates for Afghan refugees. Now, supposedly this honor is because they, quote, provided generous financial support to the Human First Coalition. Okay. But they won't say how much they gave. What did I tell you guys? This is the way this stuff works. They're like, okay, we'll give you $10,000, but you need to acknowledge us in an award. You don't know how much they gave. It could have been $100. You never know. And that's part of the problem with them. They are not transparent on what they're doing. And that's, again, part of the problem. Now, there's something weird going on with this, and let me tell you why. Harry and Meghan are not going to accept the award in New York. They're having James Holt go. Now, we know how much Meghan loves these things. Dress up, and makeup and hair and go and accept an award and receive all the adulation. And she's not going. So something is weird about that entire thing. I don't know. Very odd. Very odd. I don't know what to say about that, but this is just like, to me, this is just like the NAACP award, where they won supposedly a 6-figure award, and come to find out they were the ones funding the award for somebody, and it was exactly 6 figures. It's just a way to shuffle the money around. There's something weird going on here. There's no way that Harry and Meghan would not go and accept an award on their own behalf. What have they got that's so pressing that they can't go and accept an award? In New York, no less. Red flags. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that in order to attend the event, to watch the awards being given out, you have to pay $100 per ticket. Interesting. I am now going to finish this off with some sayings that I saw online that totally get me. You know what I'm saying? I love this one from Star Wars. I never said I hated you. I simply pointed out that if you were on fire, I might roast marshmallows. I once had a physician I worked with who hated another physician that I worked with, and he said if he was on fire, he wouldn't pee on him to put it out. Woo! All right, moving on. I love this saying. Have we reached the ultimate stage of absurdity where some people are held responsible for things that happened before they were born, while other people are not held responsible for what they themselves are doing today? Spot the heck on. All right, this final comment really just struck me. It was on Twitter, and I call it the Dear Harry comment. You say you wanted your freedom. You said you wanted to go your own way, do your own thing, become financially independent. And yet here you are, constantly referencing your family, wishing to cause them harm. What a disappointment you are, an utter failure. Spot on. And let me point out, you guys, that besides the Oprah interview, besides the Dax Shepard, the constant attacks, we know Harry's book is going to be another attack. We know Omid Scobie's next book is going to be another attack. Their victimhood is all they have. And at some point, people are going to be so sick of it. I know I already am. Earlier it said Harry fatigue. I think I already have that. All right, now for the big surprise. On Saturday at 1 o'clock, I am doing a live. Yes, this time it's not a let's just find somebody online. No, I'm going live with, I don't know if you want to say Padina, however you want to pronounce it, and Royal Daily Tea. The three of us are doing a live. We're going to do it on her channel at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. I hope you guys will tune in. I can't wait to see everybody. All right, you guys, lots of information again, but the main point from this one is one of the main things that I want to hear from you is, what do you think about what Omid Scobie wrote? That he claims he's not the mouthpiece of Harry and Meghan, and then he spews out information that he only could have gotten from Harry and Meghan. Like, seriously. Ugh. All right, put those comments in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.